Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hi, they can't see us at Walker.
It's the same situation as ours, that we have to
Oh.
reboot the system in order for us to be visible.
But
So 2 ways, he continues the way it is, or they reboot the system.
yeah, obviously we can't see them. We're having trouble with the video, but obviously talk to them about it. Okay. There's no option on there to the camera's on, so I don't know why we're not able to see them, but it's safe to see us. All right, buddy. All right.
The live stream is on and everybody outside can Walker.
Okay. Sir, we're
Yes.
having some technical issues. Are you willing to go forward, or do you want us to try to get the camera up and going?
You can see me, right?
We can see you, yes.
I'm sorry that I can't see you, but I don't mind going.
Okay. All right, yeah. that's
Whatever's
fine.
convenient. If it's, I don't want to inconvenience anybody, so I'm good.
Good morning, my name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Friday, September 13th, 2021. The hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information and preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, sir. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Morning, Mike Paul.
Nancy Turner, good morning.
Good morning, all you.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Eric McIntosh. My inmate number is 263072.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Eric McIntosh, inmate number 263072. He is serving a sentence of 27 months for interfere, resisting, threatened second, and 2 counts of violation of probation with underlying offenses of criminal mischief first, threatening second, and carrying a dangerous weapon. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of August 26, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. Mr. McIntosh has maintained employment in the kitchen since his incarceration. He has completed voices on August 6, 2024, began attending Tier 2 on August 15, 2024, with a scheduled completion date of December 12, 2024. He has been on the wait list for anger management program since May 1st of 2024. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. McIntosh.
Well, I was clean in 2018. Prior to that, I've struggled with addiction, and I went to CBH, and after I got out of CBH, I stayed clean. I had this problem with the place that I was living in, which caused me to, I acted wrongly and I broke a window, which caused criminal mischief, and things just started going downhill from there. I was employed. I was working for the trash company. I was also working for New Britain neighborhood housing. I've learned a lot. And since I've been incarcerated, I've continued to work, from being out there, I learned the value of working, and I continue to work. I have completed voices. This is the paper that I have. I've learned a lot in these last, since 2018 till now. And I really think that I should go out because I have to get somewhere to live. Like, I know that going to a halfway house program now and being able to save money and having an apartment is crucial. It's very crucial to my survival. I really don't have anywhere to go. Like, saving money and getting into an apartment, utilizing what the halfway house has to offer, utilizing what parole has to offer to the best that I can is my only way of survival. If I just go out on the street, and I don't know how long I could survive. I don't know how good I would do being in a shelter. I've never been in a shelter. I tried to get in a shelter using the 211 reference number. It just, they never helped me, and prior to coming in to my charges, I was homeless at that point. When I got charged with the criminal mischief, for breaking a window in the building that I was living in. That caused me to be homeless for a while. And I know that struggle is not what I want to go through. And I really think the halfway house at this point would help me. I don't have a lot of clothes and things like that, but I do have some support, and being able to reach the community now and use the resources. Cause I've been to halfway houses before. Some I failed, and a few of them has really helped me, and I was able to leave and have and have money in my pocket and clothes and a place to stay. And that's just my goal right now, is to get out, get a job immediately, because I love working. You know, I didn't find that out till 2018 when I was clean. I was like, wow, I really like to work. Holy shit, I didn't know this. Like, I'm kind of like a workaholic. Like, I'll pull 60, 70 hours a week if I can. So as soon as I was incarcerated here, I immediately applied for a job. I was put into the kitchen, and I just been working there since November of last year. You know, just working and enjoying to work. And at this point in my life, at 44 years old, I just know that I made these really frivolous mistakes that caused me to come in. You know, just one morning, having an argument with the supervisor of the building, and which led to me breaking a window, which led to like just a slew of just unnecessary charges and incarceration. I didn't think I ever was going to come back to jail. And I'm here, and I just been trying to make the best of the situation that I can. I've been trying to make the best. I've been applying for programs. I've been taking every program that is possible for me that they have in this facility, and just, you know, maintaining attendance and doing my worksheets and being kind and courteous to staff. And I've learned the value of respecting people. I know in the past I didn't have the understanding of how important it is to respect people, and I didn't understand that until I started working. And then once I lost my first job, and then I got my second job, I was like, wow, you know, it's really important that I respect authority and people in power. And I'm just ready to go to work and start the second half of my life.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. We have questions for you. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Yes.
Okay, we'll begin with my colleague, Mr. Pohl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Mr. McIntosh.
Good morning.
So I read about why you're there.
Yes.
And the carrying a dangerous weapon, threatening, that type of thing. What was behind that?
I don't really recall the carrying a dangerous weapon. I honestly.
You don't remember a machete?
Okay. I think I had a machete in my book bag. To be honest with you, I'm not violent, and I don't really carry weapons.
Hang on for a second, because I need to understand a little bit more here. For me, a machete is a very long,
long knife,
almost sword type thing. So I'm not sure how you get that in a book bag.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I do remember. I forgot about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had it. I just like literally had it on my person. And I remember the day I had it on my person, and somebody had called the police saying that I was threatening, that I was waving it in the air, and they had called the police to check on me and like my mental health, and they charged me with carrying a dangerous weapon. I think at the time, I didn't really see what was the problem with carrying it. It was just a knife, and it came out the store. And it wasn't like, I wasn't using it like in a crime or anything like that. I just happened to have it on my person. I didn't know it was a problem with having it. Now that I know that you can't just buy a knife out of the store, just have it on your person, I don't care. I won't carry him anymore. Like, I don't carry him anymore. Like, that was a mistake.
So, I want to get back to the question now.
And I just wanted to say, it was a nice night. They had like I was like intrigued by it because they had like a compass on it. It had like fishing line, like you unscrewed it, it had like fishing line. I just thought it was a neat thing.
So I want to get back to the question though, and that
Yes.
was your state of mind when you did that.
What was
Were
my state of
you-
mind?
Were you using? Were you?
I want to say I may have been high off marijuana at that time, but it wasn't. I wasn't trying to like. I wasn't using it in a malicious way. I think honestly I just had it. I don't know. Maybe I can't say I had it for anything other than it was just a nice knife. You know, I've seen other people carry knives. You know, they carry them on their side, on their hilt. You know, at that time I had been working in construction. So I didn't really see like a problem with having a knife, but you know, it was a pretty long knife.
I mean, so for me, it's like not characteristic. I mean, we have a criminal history that goes back to 1997.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else that looks like that.
Yeah, I've never.
Although I don't have police reports to go all the way back there, but I don't see any other like carrying dangerous weapon, that type of conviction. But it's extremely concerning. I mean, you know, if I walked out in front of the building right now and somebody had a machete, it's like, what?
That would be pretty serious. I know, I get it, and that was one of the mistakes that I made. And I just want to say that's not something that I know. Like, I don't walk around with weapons. I don't carry knives, and like, you know, when I'm working, because I do like home improvement. I work with a couple people in home improvement, so we're always using like you know, the Milwaukee knives on our side, or we're cutting open things and things like that. And sometimes even like we're doing outside work, like cutting bushes, we're using a machete or things of that nature. But yeah, I think I just had it because it was just a nice knife, and I had it like out in the open. Like, I didn't know like, like, you know, I can't have it because I don't carry weapons. I'm not a weapon. I'm not a violent. I don't try to hurt people. I don't carry weapons. I just had it. It was a nice knife, and I've seen people like carrying other knives, and I bought it and I just had it on me, and it was a mistake. I was arrested for it. I don't carry weapons like that anymore.
Okay. But at the same time, it's like there was around that time, a couple months before that, there's a threatening that was part of criminal mischief. Says that you were outside threatening clients and creating a disturbance. Residential manager came out to deal with the situation.
You know, that I was living in that building. That was the YMCA, and I was living there. And the residential manager. This is how it all started. This is what started this whole cascade of charges and me being homeless and living on the street and things like that. What had happened was my mother came to see me. Prior to that day, I had been volunteering for the YMCA for the last 2 years doing COVID prevention. And I was laid off and I was collecting unemployment, and I had been waiting for my check to come because I did a paper check because all the buildings were closed, and the money had came in, and I got a visit that morning, and I had things that I wanted to do. And so the manager of the building was telling me that my mother was outside. And I was like, you know, I don't want to see nobody now. He was upset that I didn't want to go out and see my mother. I'm like, I'm at the time 42 years old. Like, no, I don't have to go outside and see my mother. I can call her, tell her that I'll see her another time or whatever. And when I left the building, he called the police on me, and the police came to me and they told me that I could not go back in the building. And I was frustrated, very upset, in my mind, I just lost, everything that I've been working for since 2018. I worked for the trash company since then, USA Recycling and Trash, New Britain Housing. I had worked and worked and worked, and everything that I had was in that building, in the room that I was renting. And, and I was really upset. I was upset, and I've never been upset like that. And I just thought about, like, I've been helping out. I've been doing COVID prevention. I'm helping them with the daycare. I'm dismantling things for them. I'm removing stuff for them. I'm painting rooms. I'm cleaning rooms. I'm paying rent, $600 a month to live there. And I have everything that I've bought in there. And now they're saying they don't want me back in the building because of an argument that I had with the manager, who I believe was drunk at the time. He was drunk. And it was like, I was upset. I might have said some things, and I may have said something.
You might have, or
I probably did. I can't remember what I said, but I may have said some things. I was drunk. I've never been through a situation like that where I've lost stuff, where, where people want me to do one thing and it's like, okay, I got all my stuff up there. Like, I've been living there since 2018. Like, what do you mean I can't go back in the building anymore? And at that moment, I may have said some things. I threw a rock at the building, and that's how the criminal missed. I broke a window. I was upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I'm going to tell you, that was a big mistake. I'll never break another window again. That was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. There were other things that I could have done. And that just goes back to carrying my phone with me and the addict mentality from the past of just always reacting as, I need to stop and think, like, okay, maybe I could have stopped and walked away and called Marcy or called Kurt back. They managed the building, and I said, hey, I don't know why you guys called the police on me because you wanted me to go out and see my mother. When I went outside to see her, she had left. She wasn't even there. And then you guys called the police on me, and you know how much I love being here. It was traumatic. It was a bit traumatic for me. I don't know how they experienced it, but for me, that represented like everything that I had worked for, and after that, after that day, and that's like a week before Thanksgiving, everything just went downhill. I was arrested that day. I hadn't had police interference not police interference, but I had to have police contact since I got out of CVH, since 2018. I haven't even, the only time I had police contact since then was the police called me because they had found my debit card. And I was looking all over for it. And they were like, Mr. McIntyre, yeah, we have your debit card. This is in New Britain. And I came down, I got my debit card, and I was happy that day. I got my debit card. That was the only interaction that day. When all that happened is when the first time that I had police interaction. And prior to that, I was doing 3 years probation, 2018, 19, and 2020. I did 3 years probation and completed it. And I was very successful in New Britain on that probation. I did Feral Treatment Center right after CVH. I did excellent. And then this one day, my mother comes see me, and then all of a sudden, the manager of the building, well, like I said, I think he was drunk because he has a drinking problem. We've spoke a couple times. And he got irate. And, I went outside to see her, and she was gone. And I said, let me take a walk because this guy, this guy's obviously, you know, he's having his moment. Curtis Slaughter, he's a good dude, though. He's a good dude. I still wish I was there. I wish I was there so much, man. I think about being there all the time, you know, because the gym is downstairs and you live upstairs. And I work.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Let me, we're getting a lot off track here.
Okay.
So, what I'm concerned about is your mental state, right?
Yes.
And you're using during this time period? That wasn't an issue during this time period?
My mental state?
Your mental state you're using.
During from 2018 up to the day of the criminal mischief incident, I was working. COVID had happened. I got laid off from my job.
Let's come back. So your mental state with
Yes.
what was going on and with substance use.
So after all that, and I bonded out, you know, honestly, I was having a rough time because I didn't have anywhere to live, you know.
So, okay, we've established that. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to cut you off, trying to
Okay.
get an answer, right?
Yes.
Substance use. What
Yes.
was it like during that period of time?
So I was using, but yeah,
What
I
were
was
you
getting,
using?
at the time I was using crack. I was smoking a little crack because that's like my drug of choice for a year. That's what I had been on. That's what I had quit in 2018. I had quit getting high, period. And that's like my drug of choice, I would say, is crack. And so I had
When you started using again, it was when?
It was like right after that incident. I found myself homeless in Waterbury. So I moved out of New Britain. I had to go back to Waterbury for a little while. And I used a few times, but it was not, you know, I was a couple times. Wasn't a lot, actually. You know, I just used a couple times. I didn't know what else to do. I kept calling 211.
Okay, so let's go to, you said that you were, you had been doing some stuff on the inside to deal with substance use and some other things,
Yes.
finding programs. What have you been doing on the inside to deal with that?
So I've been reading a lot. The big
What have you been
book,
reading?
the big book.
Okay,
We have that book. I'm in tier 2. You know, I've been doing the packets, but I think a lot of what's kept me clean, because I stay clean even in here. You know, there's drugs in prison. I don't use drugs in prison. I don't really even like using drugs in the street. I have to be put in a corner where it's like,
you've been doing what on the inside to deal with substance use?
I just don't want to use. I just know that if I want to get back what I have, if I want to have an apartment, if I want to be able to go shopping on Amazon like I usually do every week, if I want to put money up to get a car, I cannot use drugs at all. I know that.
Yeah. So don't want to use and
At
reading the
all.
big book. And
Yes.
are there any meetings there that you go to?
There's no meetings here. I did voices, which is like about victims and understanding that aspect of crime. But
Okay.
I
So
just
you
think
did- So you did voices, you had a job since November 23 and
Yes.
you're working hard at that.
Yes.
You started tier 2 in August and you finish it in December. Outside of those things, have you done anything else on the inside?
just whatever they offer. They don't offer much.
So what do they offer? What do they offer that you've done?
Exactly what I've done so far.
Okay.
That, and, you know, aside from that, you know, I speak to my mother every day, and, you know, she's just concerned about me coming out, and she's concerned about helping me and making sure that I'm on the right track. I do have support in that way. And just, I know my biggest thing I learned in CVH. I don't really think anything can help me other than what I've learned in CVH. Because when I left CVH in 2018, I stayed clean for years. And I've never been able to do that. Prior to being on the street and becoming incarcerated and then leaving jail, I've never been able to stay clean. What I learned in CVH, you know, and they told me, they said, listen, McIntosh, if you do everything that we tell you to do, when you leave here, you will stay clean. And I believed them, and I did that, and I stayed clean.
So what is your recovery plan when you are released from incarceration?
My plan right now is to
Recovery plan.
My recovery plan that's my only plan. Is I've picked halfway houses that are outside of Waterbury. I just know that for me, people, places, and things it has big effect on me. Like I can't be around. I just cannot. I'm not saying it like to appease you, but I know me for certain. I can't go hanging around people that I used to get high with. And I can't even be in the places that I used to get high with. That stuff drives me to want to use.
Right.
It just do. I just know.
We got a halfway house outside of Waterbury. What else?
Whatever programs is available there. And to work. Working is a big thing for me. And
So
working.
when it comes to a recovery plan,
Yes.
what are you going to do out here so that you don't wind up back in there?
Well, I like to do what I've learned to do as far as like the outside programs like NA. I know they stopped having them for a while, and I used to go to them. I don't know if they're back.
Back. Yep.
They had stopped. I was going. They were having them right in the building where I was living. I was able to go from my room to the hall and go to an NA meeting, and it was like the best, you know.
So halfway house, NA, work. And you know, if they have like treatment out there, I would like to do treatment from time to time. I think I need. Like when I reflect on this past, I may need treatment from time to time. I know in New Britain they had the Pharaoh Center, which when I came out, I used to do meetings at the Pharaoh Center. Not meetings, but I used to have to go there for 3 hours, like 2 or 3 times a week. And Outpatient, yep.
Outpatient, and like an outpatient program.
Aftercare, yep.
I think I need that, like, if not immediate, I need it like at levels during, you know, being out there. At times I do need it. And, you know, saving money, saving for an apartment, these things help push me.
I have one last question.
Yes.
So with some of the things that have gone on the outside, would there be any issue taking an anger management program if you were released?
You saying, will I take one on the outside?
Yes.
No.
You think that it would be helpful?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not an angry person. I may have had episodes of anger, but I'm not like, I'm really a happy person. I am not an angry person, but you can always learn. I can always learn from those programs. I'm not.
So you think that might help you make better decisions?
Yeah, because you know, it's like I get into these groups, like even Voices, and I was like, what does Voices have to offer for me? But it opened up my door to see that a lot of people suffer from person's actions. You know, when you think people do things like, if I just did something and I'm thinking, oh, I'm not going to hurt anybody. A lot of people are hurt because of that. You know, so I think with taking anger management, You know, I'm a yogi, so I practice a lot of yoga and meditation. I might learn something to help, you know, even instill my nerves even more. You know, who knows what doors it can open for me and things that I could learn. So
So the last question is, do you know why that you got a flat sentence?
I got a flat sentence. Well, I wrote the judge and I asked for 3 years probation, and they granted me 3 years probation. And then because of the violation, it was offered. I was told by my public defender, you know, if you take a flat sentence, because I had taken suspended time, and I really didn't understand what suspended time was. I've heard people say suspended time, but I've never had it. So I didn't really understand what it was until just recently. Okay, so if you take the flat, if I took the probation, but I took suspended time, meaning that they can give me up to that amount of time, up to the 5 years suspended that I had. So the judge gave me less than half. You know, when I spoke to the judge, she said it's kind of a fair offer, because it's actually less than half of what they could have. It's less than half of what they could have given me, and less than what they initially could have gave me the whole sentence. That's my understanding of it.
So did you tell the judge at that time that, or the state's attorney or your public defender, that you were concerned about getting flat time? Because if you got flat time, that means that you could come out and really face a housing crisis.
If I got flat time?
Yeah.
I think I face a housing crisis no matter what.
Well, I mean, with probation, you can get out to a halfway house. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around this, because you have a problem with homelessness, right? And you do flat time, and we tell you, okay, in August of 25, you know, have a good day.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't.
And that's just, see, that's the thing that I was trying to get at. It's like, did you talk to your public defender or the state's attorney or the judge about that concern?
I definitely have probably had, if I think about it, I definitely had to mention that to them, because that's my biggest concern, is not leaving and being homeless. Like, that's my biggest concern. So I more than likely may have spoke to my public defender about that, or even wrote the judge about that. I had to have, because that's been my biggest concern since all this happened. That's been my biggest concern. Like, I don't want to live on the street. That's my major concern is housing. I expressed that to the people here as well. You know, and I expressed that to them. They gave me a community score that was high, meaning that, you know, I'm going to have trouble in the community finding housing. You know, this is why, and like you said about discharge, and this is why I'm aiming to have some type of stability before being totally released. Like, I want the system. I'm trying to work with the system and have it work with me. You know what I mean? So that when I get out, I don't have to go through that. Like, you know, when I discharge, I can walk into my own apartment or room, as opposed to just being like dumped on the street. And I don't want to go through that. Like, I know my survival for me, and I know how bad I want my life to be on track. Like, I so want it so bad. For me, I need that. I need that stability.
Sure. So, Madam Chair,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, good job. Thank you. All right, Mr. McIntosh, what's concerning to me is that you've had 17 opportunities at community supervision and you failed 14 of those. You were on probation when you committed new offenses. Did you take advantage of the support and resources that probation offers you?
You know, this This last time I did, because I want to say prior to like those prior, I was like, I didn't really see the help in it. It wasn't like I was seeing it. I talked to people and they'd be like, oh, probation helped me with clothing. They helped me with food. How? And I'd be like, how? I never seen it. What do you have to do? And they'd be like, listen, you got to do this, that, and third. I never really seen the benefit of it. And I was heavy into my drug use, you know, and I just didn't see it. I did not see the benefit. I didn't. Prior to that, like, it wasn't till, and I have to go back to CVH. It wasn't till CVH showed me the way. And they were like, hey, look, you can stay clean. You know, you have urges and you have cravings. Do this, you know, do that. And I did those things. I was like, wow, wait a minute. It does work. And then being on probation during 2018, I was able to get a 30-day voucher for the YMCA. So I got in there my first month.
Oh, that was through probation. Okay. Okay, that's good.
It was free. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm sitting in a room and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not outside. I have to find a job. And I immediately found a job within 2 weeks working there, working at USA Recycling. And the lady down the street from here, there's an office down the street, Anchor Staffing, Miss Summers, she got me the job, you know, and I walked from the airport over there. She got me the job. And
okay, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you because I want to stay focused here.
Yes,
so after you got into the argument with the person at the YMCA, and then you say you gave up and started using again, relapse, did you call your probation officer to let your probation officer know, hey, this is what happened. I'm having these struggles. I need help. I'm going to use.
Well, I had been previously released on probation. They said that I was doing excellent, and they had released me a little early on probation. I was working. I was going to all my meetings. No dirty urines. The probation new brand I was done with. I wasn't on probation at the time.
You were.
I was. Huh?
You were.
I was.
Yes, you're in for violation. 2 counts of violation of probation.
Yeah, I was given probation after, and then I was given probation in 2 courthouses.
Okay, but regardless, at some point you're on probation now, right? And you're struggling. Did you reach out to your probation officer for help?
I tell you, I was in the midst of using.
Yeah.
Wow, I was placed on probation. So it was like, you know, I was going to see, it was a lady, I can't remember her name, Waterbury probation.
Well, that's a problem if you don't even know your probation officer's name. I mean,
I had just met her.
Yeah.
And I had just met her, and this was like over a year ago. I had just met her. Yeah. And I was in the middle of like using. I had moved back to Waterbury. She was a nice person. She was a really nice person, but I was using. Right. You know?
Okay. All right. So you said yourself, sir, that you made a string of bad choices, right? One after another. You were making bad decisions, and you recognize that you need to stop reacting. Yes. Reacting poorly, obviously. So do you think programming might help you to gain some tools to stop reacting?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's the point, right?
Yeah, the programming helped me a lot. I can't deny that. I can't say and be like, oh, I don't need programming. Programming helped me a lot. When I was out there going to the Feral Treatment Center and being around other people outside that were like in the same position I was. Yeah. But they were talking about how they were working and they were doing this. And I was like, wow, shit, I want to do that too. You know, I want to do that too. I want to be able to stay clean and have a car and have a thing. So it helped me in that way. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know, I mean, like I said, CVH was a program in itself. And what they taught me there helped me stay clean. Prior to 2018, I've never been clean. Yeah. Okay,
no, it sounds like you really liked CVH. You benefited from CVH for a while.
I stayed, because when I left there, I was clean. And then it was like, I never thought that I would be able to go a day, let alone years,
Yeah.
without getting high. So
Right.
they taught me some things. So programming, yeah, without a doubt.
All right, so let's talk more about tier 2. How often do you go to tier 2?
So I've been in tier 2 for about a month now.
Yeah. How often
And
do you go? When do you go?
we go once a week on Thursdays. And I was supposed to leave
That's
to a
what
half.
takes 4 months. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. You're supposed to what?
So I was eligible for a halfway house in April.
Yeah, they
And
wanted you to do
Tier
finish the
2.
tier program first. Yeah. Mhm.
So they said to finish the tier 2, to
Yeah.
leave to a halfway house. That DOC would put me in a halfway house once tier 2 was finished.
Right, and that's in
And
December.
that's in December. So
Yeah.
I'm beyond. I mean, I'm doing the tier 2, but what's going to help me? I've already acquired the skills that what's going to help me stay clean. I was hoping to leave before then to start
Yeah.
now.
No, I understand that. I
You
understand.
know what I mean?
All right, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Turner, at this point. Thank you for speaking with me, sir.
Thank
Morning,
you.
Mr. McIntosh.
Good morning.
I've been listening really carefully as you've talked to my colleagues. You said in your opening statement you have some supports. Tell me who your supports are.
So I have my sister. She's been in my corner, you know, a lot. My mother, and that's it. Just my sister and my mother.
Are they here in Connecticut?
Yes, my sister lives in Waterbury and my mother lives in Naugatuck.
Okay, so when the situation happened at the Y, was it an option to go and stay with either of them to get back on your feet?
Well, I could, but I knew it wouldn't have been a long thing because for one, I don't like staying with them.
Why?
And well, you know, my sister, she's a good person, but she suffers from she's a schizophrenic. She suffers from schizophrenia, so it could get it's different in the house. Like certain things trigger her schizophrenia, and being in the house with her for days at a time, it just doesn't feel, it's not healthy for me. You know, like if I leave rice in the sink, like for some reason rice triggers her schizophrenia. I don't know. And things like that. You know, my mother, she's older and, you know, she's on Section 8. And staying with her while she's on Section 8, you know, I don't want to even push that because I don't want her to lose her Section 8. She worked hard. She waited so long.
What I'm hearing, Mr. McIntosh, is that you had some options. And if you were working full time, then you would have been able to sleep at your sister's place, but limited your interaction because you'd be out of the house at your job, right? Instead of having all the wheels come off the car, you could have, you know, patched it together and held it together.
I was looking for work in Waterbury. I was looking for work. I just didn't really.
I thought you had been working at the recycling place for 3 years.
Yeah, but this is after I said I was laid off during COVID. And then I started working for New Britain Neighborhood Housing. And then the incident happened. I got arrested. When I lost my place in New Britain, I moved back to Waterbury, I said. Once I moved back to Waterbury, I had to have somewhere to stay. So I stayed with my sister briefly.
Okay. So you talked about the fact that this incident at the YMCA was traumatic for you, getting kicked out. And that you didn't know how the other people experienced you in these different incidents at the JCPenney, at the Home Depot, in the streets of Waterbury with a machete. So I wanted to share a little bit with you. When you broke out the window at the Y, or at least one of them, a woman named Grace, she got a piece of glass in her eye as a result of your actions. So that would have had some profound impact. I'm sure you would agree. So when you, so the first incident after the Y was in January, when you had the machete. And I have to think that you are under the influence because you were in the street. It was 2 p.m. and you were screaming that you were going to kill people.
That, I
The
don't know.
person, can I finish?
I don't believe
Can I
that.
finish?
Yeah,
Can
go
I
ahead.
finish? The person who called the police to get some intervention because of the danger that you were posing, you were in the middle of the sidewalk and you approached the person in an aggressive manner and said, "You'll be my first victim. I'm going to kill you." And then after the police, arrived and contained you, you asked them, "What did I do?" So, you saying you don't believe
I
that
don't even
this
think,
happened. I'm
No.
telling you that you didn't remember it, kind of in the moment. So I don't know if that was the crack or not.
yeah,
When
like
you
I
were
said,
at J.C. Penney's, you told the loss, you got irate at the loss prevention officer because he was stopping you from stealing clothing.
Yeah, I
And
needed
you were
clothes.
screaming in the store. He was trying to escort you off of mall property and you started pulling your pants down. And you picked up a rock and you threatened him with it.
Yeah,
So all of this is to help you appreciate a little more fully how people experienced you out in the
that's
community.
bad.
I wanted you to reconcile that you really were out there out of control, endangering people, threatening people, scaring people in the community.
Yeah.
And, so when I look at this between your drug use and your life circumstances, I think you have problems regulating your own emotions. So I feel very strongly that you need to participate in anger management, as the chair was saying, and have some more tools to deal with distress. When you are unhappy in a situation, pulling your pants down, picking up rocks to threaten people doesn't help you or the situation at all. But if you learned how to cope with the uncomfortable feelings, let them pass, and then make intelligent decisions about how you want to act going forward, perhaps you could prevent some of the problems that you were escalating there in the community. Does that make sense?
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I'm very embarrassed by that. That had to be, like I said, during those times I was using, not,
But I'm going to say to you one more thing, sir.
yes.
So when you got the violation of the probation because of the machete and the threatening, you were working with probation officer Jackson, and you had been referred to the Midwest Connecticut Council on Alcoholism for court-ordered substance abuse and mental health evaluation, and you wouldn't participate. You wouldn't accept the referral. You wouldn't show up, and so they unsuccessfully discharged you the same month that you had the incident at J.C. Penney. So I just want you to appreciate that people were trying to work with you. They were trying to intervene. They were trying to get you the help you needed, even if it wasn't through 211. Your probation officer was trying to get you on the right path, and you were your own worst enemy in this situation because of the addiction.
Yeah. I went through a lot. Sleeping behind buildings when you have nowhere to live, it puts a lot on you. When people
I don't doubt that, and I don't minimize that. But sir, you're also responsible for the harm that you're causing other people out in the community through no fault of their own, just because your path crosses with them. Right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And like I said, I am totally embarrassed by my actions, and that's why I'm here. And if it wasn't for any of that, I wouldn't be here, having this conversation. Right. So you're right. And getting treatment and help, that is definitely, that's key. I would not deny that.
Right. Thanks for
That's-
talking with me, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. McIntosh, we're going to take
Yeah.
a few minutes to deliberate. You can listen to us. Of course, you can't see us, but we'll get back to you shortly with our decision, okay?
Okay. Do you want me to leave or?
No, you can listen. Just don't interrupt, please. Thank you. Mr.
I won't
Cole.
say a word.
So the big thing that concerns me, there's a few big things that concern me here, but one of the big things is that this is a flat sentence.
Mhm.
I think it's pretty obvious that Mr. McIntosh needs help. But he also needs some programming to better get a grasp on where he's been and what he needs to do in the community. I'd really like to see him finish tier 2. Whether the anger management program is important. I don't know that, I think that a community-based anger management program would be most helpful as it's in the community where things are happening on a daily basis that might be affecting Mr. McIntosh, and he could use the support of that group while he's out there. I'm concerned with behavior. He doesn't have, it's not like you need to have any other history, but he, as far as having the machete, which he sounds to me like that that marijuana has some PCP in it, if you can't remember what's going on. In the middle of the street with a machete, it's not anywhere near sane behavior. But there isn't anything that's other types of behavior like that. There were the 3 incidents right here, and I think having the support while he's out there and trying to get back into the community is important. If we support him in parole and continue with the contingency, and he gets the support he needs for housing and for employment, I think that would be the best situation.
Let's hope. Ms. Turner.
So obviously, he's asking for the support to transition successfully. And I think that would be critical for him. My concern here today is that he's in tier 2. And he's actually already minimizing the value that he can have in that program and expressed significant ambivalence about anger management even. So part of me, with 3 months left of the program, kind of wonders whether this should be a rehear to see, really what he's taken away from the program. Because even though CBH helped him in 2018, when life started unraveling, he went right back to drugs and drug use that had, a months-long profound effect on multiple communities, because these crimes were across several cities here in our state. So, I would have liked to have heard more robust commitment to working tier 2 for everything he could possibly get out of it. So, it's just the perspective that he's taking into the program is not what I feel it should be, given the crimes that he was committing and the behavior he was exhibiting out in the community. So, I am supportive of discretionary parole. I I just wonder, because part of it might be that he's hedging because he doesn't want to stay tier.
Right.
So perhaps, that's what we're hearing is a minimization of whatever value it could be to him because he'd rather be out in the community getting a job and starting to save. So.
Okay. So I'm not sure that he'll gain anything from an additional 3 months in tier 2. I question that myself. He's taken these types of programs in the past, and it's very clear that he prefers to do programming out in the community. And in fact, programming in the community has been more helpful to him than the programming in the facility.
When he chooses to engage.
Exactly. Right. So do I think he should finish out tier 2? Sure. But I'm not certain there would be any benefit in bringing him back after the 3 months. Clearly does need help, as we all have stated.
And honestly, completing tier 2 still gives him 8 months of supervision out in the community.
Yeah, no, I agree. He should finish it out and try to gain whatever
robust.
he can from the program that he has started. But I just.
I'm saying it more for
here. Yeah.
For him,
yeah.
in that, he wants out today.
Right.
And in fact, 8 months is a generous level of support to transition with the skills that he already has.
Yep. Okay.
So are you suggesting,
Conditions.
are you,
We'll do a contingency, but I wouldn't bring him back to see what he's
No.
learned because I'm not sure that he's going to take anything from it. I just think it's the responsible thing for him to do is finish out the program that he's in. All right, so we'll do a contingency on tier 2, a halfway house, obviously, anger management. Halfway house, anger management, anything else? Mr.
I'm not going to stipulate locations. He's picked a different community that he wants to go to, and I think that's a good start.
Yeah. Well, and the reality is, if they don't have room in one, they're going to send them to another anyway. All right, in the matter of Eric McIntosh, inmate number 263072, I'll move to grant parole. We'll make it effective today, September 13th, 2024, but you have to finish the program, so you won't get out today. It's contingent upon completion of the tier 2 program. You'll parole to a halfway house and participate in a behavior management program for anger management in the community. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, sir. So we want you to finish out that tier 2 program, and then you'll be released to a halfway house.
Thank you very much. I
Good
can
luck
leave
with
now?
you, sir. Yes, thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Eric McIntosh, inmate number 263072.
I didn't look at him.
He was
Correct. Okay. Okay. Benway? Correct. Okay. Okay. Benway?
Okay, now, you guys are live, Menard, so mute. The conference room if you're not muted, but you are muted, so you're good. Just wanted to let you know you guys are live.
Good morning. My name is Parole Officer Bernard. Today is Friday, September 13th, 2024, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they reviewed the statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Deborah Smith Almeri.
Good morning, Joy Chance.
Good morning, I'm panel member Page. Oh, the camera's off, but that's okay.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name Benway, 416-560. Morning.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Brendan Benway, inmate number 416-560. He's serving a sentence of 4 years, executed suspended after 30 months jail, with 13 months probation for possession with intent to sell / distribute narcotics, in violation of probation with the underlying offense of violation of protective order. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of August 9th, 2024. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender is participating in the 5-day job and Tier 2 program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Hey, can you just wait 1 second, Mr. Benway? Is there any way to adjust the camera? I want to make sure you can see all 3 board members. There we go. Better. Can you see all 3 of us now?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Okay, go ahead.
Wanted to, read this paper if it's okay.
That's great. Thank you.
I would like to thank the Board of Parole and Pardon for taking the time to see me and hear what I have to say. If I was to get accepted for parole, I would use this time and opportunity to better myself and others. Most of all, do better for my kids, my family, and life, period. I understand 100% what I did was wrong. And what I did was not only had an effect on me, but also had an effect on my family, my kids, and also the community and loved ones around me. What I was doing was wrong. I was going about my life and things the wrong way. I could have worked hard to get the things I wanted. I understand that a job and hard work pays off now. I really would like to have a chance to better my life and show parole that I have changed my life and started to really better myself. I want to go home and stay involved in drug treatment programs in society and community. I would like to
Keep going.
I would like to do counseling and trying to give back as much as I can. I want to look back in a couple of years and really say, look how far I've come in life and how I have done. I have learned so much this time being incarcerated. I've studied plumbing classes so I could get a better job and better myself as a person when I get home. I have learned a lot of skills in my Tier 2 program. I want to take up school and do college classes when I get home to help me with better my future for me and my family and just do the best that I could for them. I don't want to be doing the wrong thing out there. I want to be doing the right thing by them. I want to make my family, my kids, and everyone around me proud. I also like to start by removing my face tattoos and all my tattoos, period, so I can look like a respectable person in society and be looked at as a respectable young man. I also have a good job set up for me when I get home. I'm an assistant manager at Splash Detailing in West Haven. I plan on working there and overnight jobs just to do as best as I can. Also, my other plans are to fix my license and get my CEO when I get home to try and better my future.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Benway. Sounds like you put a lot of effort into that, a lot of thought. We appreciate it. We're going to be asking you some questions. When we're done with the questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
Right.
All right. Ms. Chance will begin with the questions this morning.
All right.
So, Mr. Benway, thank you for taking the time to express to us why you think you deserve parole today.
Yeah, I'm sorry I stuck a little bit. I was a little nervous.
You did fine. So you say you have a good job as the assistant manager at Splash Car Wash.
Yep.
But when you were arrested, wasn't that the same job you had?
No, so when I got arrested, I wasn't arrested as the day of the things I was doing. So I stopped and was trying to do the right thing and better my life, but it was already too late. They already had their investigation going, and what I did was just it was too late already. But
Late already for what?
when they did the investigation, it was months before everything.
Right.
So the time I started working, it was already set in stone of what was gonna happen to me.
So you knew the investigation was going on, but you went and got the job.
No, I didn't know the investigation was going. It was a surprise search warrant. I had no idea of nothing.
So you were found with quite a bit of heroin and fentanyl.
I'm sorry, you said what?
You were found with quite a bit of fentanyl or heroin or a mixture of both.
Yes, ma'am.
Why were you selling drugs?
To be honest with you, I just, it was the crowd I was around. You know, I was just being really young-minded. I wasn't using my brain.
Mr. Benway, let me remind you that you weren't as young-minded as you think. You were, you started out before 25, but you're now what, 27?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, and your last 3 trips on community release, you failed all of them. Why?
Last what?
3 community releases. You failed them.
As in halfway house?
Probation,
You were on probation.
and he failed that 3 times.
And you were on probation when you committed the current offense.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of your violation of probation was a violation of protective order. Were you required to take a domestic violence program in the community?
Yes, I completed that.
You completed that.
Yes, ma'am.
When?
I don't know the exact date. I'm pretty sure it was the Evolve program, through virtual.
Oh, you did it virtual.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is there that your understanding was, because, you violated that protective order?
To this violation of probation, I didn't violate a protective order. The protective order was a single Medina. I just violated my probation. That was originally for the protective order.
Right.
I'm sorry, I think I feel like I was confused on that.
What is it that you're confused about?
I thought you said that I violated my protective order just now on what I was just released for.
Well, your violation of probation, the underlying offense is the protective order, but you violated the probation with your current charge. Okay, and you were on probation for the protective order. So you violated that because you committed the current offense. Do you understand now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you took tier 2 and you said it was very helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it that you learned this time in tier 2 that you didn't get before?
Honestly, I learned that drugs have a really impact, not just on me. And I've started to realize that has a big effect on my kids, my family, community, not just me, but also the people that are using drugs, their family, their loved ones, and the impact that it has on their lives. How it destroyed lives and families and relationships and put people away from their kids. I learned that it's not right.
Okay.
And
Now, did you complete that plumbing certificate?
yeah, I get it Monday.
Oh, so you just finished it.
Yeah,
Very
I get
good.
it. Yep.
So now that you have that, I know you indicated in your opening comments that you have that assistant manager job at the Splash Car Wash in West Haven. So, and you also mentioned getting your CDL. So how does your plumbing certification come into play?
How am I what? I'm sorry.
Your plumbing certification that you received.
That also comes into better job opportunity and trying to better my life.
Are you gonna follow through on that?
Yes, ma'am.
How?
My aunt's husband, he owns a how do you say it, add-on addition, like he does additions for houses and stuff like that. And he's actually encouraged me to do it. So when I go home with him, I can work because I can't work for him if I'm not certified because I can't be on his insurance.
Right.
So I need to be on his insurance in order to work with him. So I do got a lot of job opportunities and things like that. My little brother owns a trucking company that he goes back and forth from Tennessee to Connecticut, from Texas. After he got out the Army, he opened it. So he said if I got my CDLs also, I could work with him and drive one of his trucks.
Yeah. Just to go back very quickly. So in order for you to pursue your plumbing license, do you have your GED or a high school diploma?
I got a couple more credits left. I got 1 or 2 credits left. And for your plumbing, you don't need a high school diploma.
To
But I
get
am.
plumbing
I'm sorry.
license?
Huh?
To go to plumbing school to get a plumbing license?
Yeah, because plumbing is a trade.
I know what you're talking. And most trades, you need to have a high school diploma, or a GED. So I think you need to do a little bit more research there.
I'm in school for it right now.
Okay. Well, that's good. So I hope you follow through with that. So you want to be released to your wife in Northford?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have your social support as your wife, your aunt, and your grandmother?
Yes, ma'am.
So were they always there for you?
Yes. And when I say they were always there for me, as in, if I'm doing dumb stuff, they make sure I be trying to stay in line, especially my wife. She's honestly the greatest support system I think I've had in the last couple of years, trying to get me to better myself and do the right thing.
Well, I certainly hope that this time you are paying more attention to what you're saying that you're going to do and that you're going to follow through and do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so good luck and thank you for answering my questions. I'm done here.
Thank you, Ms. Chance. I have no follow-up questions. Panel member
Question.
Page?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So, Mr. Benway, we will now deliberate about your case and give you our response in just a few moments.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Chance?
So I have to say, I think this time, Mr. Benway seems to be doing much better. I know he failed his previous 3 community releases, but it sounds to me like he's on the right path to realizing all of his mistakes. I appreciate the fact that he got a plumbing certificate and that there's a pathway for him to follow and that he has some support there. He does have a good job. We didn't verify because I didn't have anything from the Splash Car Wash, but I know he was working there before his incarceration. So I am hoping that he will follow through and go there while he pursues his GED and his CDL. And I meant to ask him if he has a license. Do you have a driver's license?
He doesn't. He said he wants to fix it in his opening statement.
So is it suspended?
I do have a license, but I ended up leaving my car on the side road, right before I came in, and they give you a parking ticket, and if you don't pay your parking ticket within a certain amount of time, they do suspend your license, so I just gotta pay my
Right,
ticket.
so it's suspended, which
Yes,
is what
ma'am.
yeah, okay. So he's gonna take care of that. And, he has good support in the community. He's going back to his wife and he has family. So I would be willing to give him another opportunity to go out on discretionary parole.
I would agree with all of that. I think he was working, even though it was after they were investigating him for the drug sales. I know that Splash often does hire with reentry. I do agree with you on the plumbing certificate, certainly opens a few doors for him, and he has support in the community. Panel Member Page?
I agree.
Okay. And conditions?
The, no contact with the, SM.
SM? Is that from the protective order? So would that be a general no contact?
It would be in general now,
Okay.
because it's, all right.
Anything else?
Have domestic violence
See again.
and mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary, score is 3.
Okay. How about the no driving? Anybody want to add?
No
that?
driving without peers.
Okay. So in the matter of Brendan Benway, 416-560, there's a motion to grant parole on or after September 13th, 2024, with the following stipulations. Mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary. No operation of a motor vehicle without the parole officer's permission. Community-based treatment for domestic violence, and a general no contact with SM. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, Mr. Benway, best of luck to you.
Thank you. I really want to thank you guys for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And I promise to, do everything I'm supposed to do out there.
I hope so. You're only 27, such opportunity to change the direction.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hearing.
Good luck, sir. You're all set.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Okay. Morning, my name is Parole Officer Bernard. Today is Friday, September 13th, 2024, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they received all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Good morning, George Chance.
Panel Member Page, morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Dwayne Davis, 419-442.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Dwayne Davis, inmate number 419-442. He is serving a sentence of 5 years executed suspended after 30 months jail with 3 years probation for larceny second, evading responsibility / injury, failure to appear first, assault third, interfere with resisting an officer, threatening, violation of probation with an underlying offense of conspiracy to commit robbery second. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of November 7th, 2023. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I feel like I should be granted parole today because honestly, I felt like I learned from my mistakes. I'm still learning today as a young Black man. And honestly, I was going through a tough time when I was home in a dark place, and I'm ready to change my life for the better this time. I have a 2-year-old daughter. I can't live for me no more. I'll have to live for her now. And hopefully, if you do guys let me on parole, hopefully I can impact other people's life and show them the way. That it's still never too late to change.
Did you see that he had a daughter? That's why you're making a face.
That's why. I'm sorry, Mr. Davis. Did we interrupt you?
No, man.
You're all set? Okay.
Yes.
We were just looking at each other because our records indicate you have no children.
No, I have a 2-year-old daughter.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that. So, Mr. Davis, we will be asking you some questions and then we will deliberate and give you our decision about parole this morning. Okay? So, I think a lot of the charges pretty much speak for themselves. You were stealing cars, you got in an accident, you didn't go to court. Then you have this threatening, this interfering, and you were on probation while it was all happening. So why were you struggling in the community and committing all these new offenses?
I was just in a dark place. I didn't have nowhere to live.
Tell me what that means. What does it mean you were in a dark place?
So for me, this dark place was stability. I didn't have a stable roof over my head. Rent kept going up. I got evicted. I've been homeless. It's been rough. And then the loss of my best friend, it took a toll on me, and I've been fighting addiction for my whole life through alcoholism.
Okay. I did take note that when you met with the parole officer, you discussed believe you have a problem with alcohol. You were homeless when you were arrested, or you were just
on the
here
verge,
and there?
yes.
You were homeless.
Yes.
How long were you homeless?
About 3 months.
All right. So where were you staying at night?
My car.
In your car. If you had a car, why were you stealing cars?
The person that actually sold me the car, it was stolen. I didn't necessarily just went to the car and steal it. This time, the one I got arrested, the person that sold me the car, it came back stolen. I had no idea.
How much did you pay for the car?
$3,200.
Wouldn't that have satisfied some rent for you to get another apartment?
I mean, during the time, I needed a car. I didn't want to take the bus. I didn't want to take the train. It was cold outside. It was just the right time for me. So I took it upon myself to buy the car, and I didn't think it was stolen.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So why did you have this, what I realize it was not a firearm, but why did you have this temperature, food temperature gauge wrapped up in black tape like a firearm?
Honestly, I really don't remember. I really don't recall that. When I got arrested that time, I was highly intoxicated, like highly.
Okay. All right. So you were on probation. What were you doing for probation?
Probation? I was on probation for the robbery charge. I came on from Mason U4.
Okay. And I know you were on probation for a robbery, but what was probation requiring that you do?
Maintain a job, and I was working at LA Fitness in car dealership, so I always was employed. Getting a job was never a problem for me. It would just.
So I do make note that you were working at the dealership in LA Fitness. So I guess I'm struggling as to why you have all these other charges. You're in a stolen car, and you had no place to live.
Rent was high, I couldn't really manage. I was in between. I'm spending more money on going to work than I actually am making. So it was like I had to keep with a consistent car. My car would break down, so I would just have to keep buying new cars.
Okay, all right. So you have all these arrests, and they're on different dates. So had you posted bond and were back out in the community after you got arrested?
Yes.
Okay, why'd you fail to appear for court? I
got shot.
Okay, so were you in the hospital?
Yes, and they took note of that, and they told me that they're gonna raise my bond because they have no proof. But I showed them my gunshot wound, and I was on crutches. but they still raised my bond. And I left the courtroom.
Okay, so then they issued a rearrest warrant for you because you
Yes.
left the courtroom.
Yes,
Okay.
and I specifically told them that I'm going to the ATM. They said the bond was going to be 15,000. I told them I was going to the ATM with my dad to get the money. So when I came back, they issued the arrest. They told me you have arrest. The public defender told me that because I left.
You probably shouldn't have left, right? You've been to court before. You know the judges gets pretty prickly when you don't obey the court orders.
Yes, but recess usually 30 minutes, and I came way back before then. And I know I took it upon myself to do it, but I just didn't want to go to jail that day, especially I was injured. I couldn't even walk.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about your behavior while you've been incarcerated. So you have 4 tickets, threatening, intox. Why can't you get along? And why are you using drugs while you're in jail?
I can explain the drug part. It's actually no excuse. Literally, it's no excuse in my behavior. I take full accountability for that. It was kind of a mixture of peer pressure and it's hanging around bad company, you know. But every day I regret that. I really do regret that.
I mean, that was not very long ago. That was only about 4 months ago.
Yes. It was a point in time. I just got weak. I didn't know. No, I'm just waiting for the police report. I couldn't see community release. I just got weak, and it was a misunderstanding. Honestly, it was really peer pressure.
Well, it's not really a misunderstanding. I'll take peer pressure. Yeah. But I'll take that. I don't know if you can have a misunderstanding about using drugs. I can appreciate that everybody maybe around you is doing it and you join in. So you took the Voices program. That's the only program you've been able to do?
Yes.
And I made a note. You said you learned common sense. When did you finish the Voices program?
I finished it May.
All right. Right around the same time that you were having the disciplinary reports?
Yes. The reason why I caught the threatening ticket in the first place is because it was a rookie CO. Me and him had an argument, and I am 6'4", 280 pounds, so I can see how he felt threatened by me. So he pressed, it's a button, it's a signal 11, he pressed the button, and they transferred me to Brooklyn. So whenever you go to Brooklyn, you get a random yarn, and that's how that took place, and that's how I'm here today.
Oh, all right. Well, you know, there's so many things that I could say about that statement. One is, you know, I think it has no bearing on your size or the CO size. And let me finish. And that's why you got the ticket, is because they took a drug test. You have a ticket because you used marijuana while you were incarcerated.
Yes, yes.
That's the bottom line. So I made a note that you said from the Voices program, you learned common sense. So I was a little bit perplexed in seeing that and then seeing the disciplinary reports. Tell me why you think you learned common sense.
When I was home, I thought of impulse. I didn't really think much, you know. So when the program common sense to me means that I understand what I'm doing and what's the consequences behind it. And I understand what I was doing when I decided to smoke marijuana, and I understand the consequences behind it. At the time, I wasn't thinking about the consequences. You know, I just wanted to get the feeling the way I was feeling. It was a temporary feeling. I didn't think about it. It was just, I got weak. Like I said, again, it was kind of a mixture of peer pressure, and I took that upon myself to do it.
All right. Okay. Your release plan includes going to a halfway house?
Yes.
And you think you can get employment with your uncle who runs an internship program?
Yes, he's actually a reentry coach in Stanford through Domus. It's called Invictus. It's through Domus in Stanford.
Yep, I'm familiar with that.
Yes, so I've been familiar with them since I was about 14 now. So I've been had him ever since.
Okay. Right. So tell me, what else do you need other than living at the halfway house and working for your uncle or going through his internship program? What do you think you need to be successful in the community?
It's just stay away from negative people. I never had a hard time working. It's just sometimes that I get ahead of myself and I just start to hang around these bad influences. But from this point forward, I don't think that's going to happen anymore, because after parole, I want to enlist in the Air Force. I already talked to a recruiter. They're working on waiving my felony. So hopefully that goes good.
I'm not familiar with how that process works, but if that is your understanding and that's correct, I think that's not such a bad plan. You have not taken an addiction services program and you're not working. In terms of your alcohol addiction, what do you think you need for that?
For me, it's just bad influences. It's just that people, my childhood friends, I can say that a lot. They play a big part of my life. And this time around, I'm just going to tell them straight out for I don't want them involved in my life. I've never been scared to tell anybody. So I'm just take this time and I'm going to tell them, like, I don't want to be involved with you guys.
All right, Mr. Davis, thank you for answering my questions. Panel Member Page?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Davis, in reviewing your file, there seems to be a pattern of your being out of control of your anger. For example, your explanation for why you got into a fight with your roommate or you beat him up is because he took your picture and put it on social media, and you weren't happy about that. Then,
yes, it was. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
It was a nude picture, actually.
Okay, but still, you assaulted him because of that. You could have, I mean, there's a million different ways that you could have handled that. Then shortly after that, you get in a car accident on the highway. The car is on fire and the police are trying to help you, and you threaten to shoot the police officer. And then, you're driving and you're under the influence of PCP. I mean, then you come into the prison and you get 4 disciplinary infractions, and because you have the 4 tickets, you can't take any programs. It's a combination of too much. The fact that you're very, very young and you still have your entire life ahead of you is promising. However, given the fact that you rate out extremely high, I've seen that there's some propensity for violence in your criminal history, and you have not done well during previous releases out in the community. I will not be able to support your request for discretionary parole today. Okay? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Chance.
So I just need to clarify, according to our records, he completed the Voices program November 2023.
Mm-hmm.
He has acknowledged that he has a problem with alcohol and has not taken an addiction services program because of his DRs. So for me, and I'm going to agree with some of the comments that Mrs. Page said, I do think he needs an anger management program, and I do think he needs to take a substance abuse or addiction services program. And he did fail to notify the court about his injury. Instead, he didn't show up, and the poor decision to buy a car instead of renting a room. All of that negative behavior and poor decision is part of why he's here today. So I think Mr. Davis has a ways to go. So.
All right, thank you. So I think we all seem to be in the same place with Mr. Davis. He's just not suitable for discretionary parole today for a variety of reasons. One, he really hasn't done the programs that would benefit him to go out into the community. His disciplinary reports are concerning. The number of charges over different periods of time, his failed community supervisions. So I think we're all in agreement that he doesn't have much to the end of his sentence. The goal, I think, would be if he could do addiction services, maybe an anger management program would certainly give him the best opportunity for success in the community. So I had poor institutional adjustment, inadequate institutional program participation, and evidence of offender change. Anything else?
I have that he was also on probation when he committed the offense. I'm not sure if that's one that you want to add.
I would like to add that. Ms. Chance?
I had that one too, but I also had his criminal history.
Okay. So you want me to add criminal history?
I think that that those three are adequate, in my opinion, but.
So in the matter of Dwayne Davis, 419442, there's a motion to deny parole for the following reasons. Poor institutional adjustment, current offense committed while on probation, and inadequate institutional program participation and evidence of offender change. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Davis, we wish you the best of luck. Try and do a little bit more programming before you go out to probation. Will only benefit you.
Good luck, sir.
This includes.
How you doing, man?
Morning, my name is Parole Officer Renard. Today is Friday, September 13th, 2024, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certified that reviewed all statutorily required documents and available current information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning, Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Good morning, Joy Chance.
Good morning, I'm panel member Page.
Good morning, Kai Green.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Good morning, Kai Green, 438996.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Kai Green, inmate number 438996. He is serving a sentence of 10 years executed suspended after 3.5 years jail with 5 years probation for larceny second, 4 counts of burglary third, failure to appear first, illegal possession of a weapon in a motor vehicle, and attempt to commit burglary third and assault third. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of January 7th, 2024. There's no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the following. He's completed anger management and voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the high range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Sorry if I'm kind of nervous, but one of the reasons why I should be prevented parole is I do have a little speech I would like to read, if you don't mind.
No, we'd rather have you read something. Thank you.
Thank you. I, Kai Green, feel as I should be honored your vote for parole because I have come to realize that I want better for myself as well as for my 2 kids. I have realized being honest, truthful, feeling remorse about the past life I lived makes me a better person, not just for myself, but to my kids as well. If I can go back and do the things different, I would have, but I'm making it my utmost business to work on moving forward and not going back. I, Kai Green, will be honored to receive your vote because my plan is to reach out to temp programs that are willing to give an opportunity at a job placement until I build a resume for a long-term better job. Reach out to Husky Healthcare that will provide dental healthcare as well as transportation to inmates being released from prison. Follow up with the resources that the Father program is willing to provide to me through DCF such as housing and basic needs. I will also follow up with the CHR programs that can help me with not just myself, but with the trauma my family has been put through since I have been incarcerated. My goal is once I start this process, my job is to comply with the parole with the terms that I signed off to and work, provide, and see that my family needs are being met while keeping my job in the community. These are just some, most, but not least reasons why I should be honored your vote for parole. Another reason why I should be honored your vote for parole is because I do have a recommendation from the GED program that I am currently in through the school teacher, social studies, Ms. Clemens. I had got this the other day. I don't know if it's in my master file or not. I've completed the Voices program. I think sometime around last year or so, or a year and a half ago, I've completed the Voices program. And I also have recently completed the anger management program last week.
Excellent.
I have also did a little bit of research on the Regional 4 program that helps with communication skills, co-parenting discipline, community health network that helps with Husky members to certify community health workers. They assist with education, employment, education resources, primary care providers, medical services, obtain the Husky health connections, and also the Northern Western Connecticut Reentry Council resources. They basically have the same concept of assistance, transportation, education, employment, housing, access to healthcare, identification. Basically what I'm trying to imply, if I can be transparent, is I do have a plan.
Okay, those are community-based programs?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you ever been involved with them before?
I have did research on them because I've been in DCF since I was 12 years old up until 2.5 years ago. So they have implied to me basis things like OPP, which is through Jessica Blake, which helps you with need assistance from ages 16 to 25. I am currently in that age range, which means I am eligible for the Project Reach Transitional Housing Program that helps with young adult services from River Valley Services in Middletown, Connecticut. I've also reached out to housing authorities that I have right here that are willing to take in inmates that are being released from prison that I believe is 24 landlords or programs that are willing to do that.
Excellent. Okay, Mr. Green, why don't we ask you some questions now? You have a lot of good information there. Let us kind of ask you some questions and dig a little deeper, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Panel member Page will begin with the questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Green, I am very happy to see that you've done your research and actually prepared for today's hearings. Oftentimes, people in that seat, they come in, they're unprepared, and they just wing it. And I'm glad to see that you took this opportunity very seriously, and you knew that this was life or death. So, you know, no pun intended.
No, it's okay.
So that you know, you can show us that you are ready and you're prepared to go out. I'm happy to see that you participated in some positive programs. I'm very happy to hear that you're in school. That made me happy, honestly. And I also read that you were working. Are you?
Yes, so basically what they do is the transition from the school education program is also not also an education program, but it's considered a job. So you basically it's 2 for 1. And I realized that, so I just took the opportunity.
Okay. And so how many subjects? I know you did social studies. What else in school?
I also have science, reading, and mathematics. Right now, my current specialty is social studies, history. So I have been watching like different things on television, script news, debates, stuff like that.
And have you taken any of the tests yet towards the GED?
I have taken the MD class. I took the M class for mathematics. I took the D record for I think I have the record.
Did you pass math?
I haven't passed math. I took basically I didn't want to jump right into it because my thing is time. So I guess you have 45 minutes to answer questions, and my thing is the teacher didn't want to just push me into it because my thing is I take a long equivalent amount of time because I have to be precise with the things I have to, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. Listen, I don't even think I could pass the math portion or any portion of the test, to be honest with you. So I understand completely. I'm just happy that you're taking the time out to work on yourself while you're in there. And keep working. And I hope that when you're released out into the community that you continue working on your education, because having that piece of paper is something that they can't take away from you. That makes you more marketable in the community. Gives you a step above all the other people applying who don't have it. Okay. So you said something about a reentry program, a North something. What was it? North what?
It is Northeastern. It's North Northwestern Connecticut Reentry Council resources that help you with assistance with education, transportation, housing, and also employment.
I heard all of that. And, you know, it does sound as if you've had a really tough upbringing and that, you know, you basically had to learn things on your own. And it looks like you gravitated towards the street to learn those things. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, ma'am. It's more like I had to advocate for myself for a long period of time going through DCF. And, you know, even though my mother was temporarily in my life here and there, I had to really realize, especially with having 2 kids, a son and a daughter, that I had to, there's certain things and certain ways I have to carry myself now. I can't just be out there doing anything that's putting not just me at risk, but other people, such as my kids.
Right. Well, Mr. Green, you're still very, very young and you have a long life ahead of you. But let me give you just one little snack. I know people say a little bite, little tidbit.
Yes, ma'am.
Parents aren't perfect. They do the best that they can with what they have.
Yes,
so, you know, I would encourage you to cut your mom just a little bit of slack.
Yeah. I call my mom almost every week. She's the Jehovah's Witness. So I have been engaged in the Jehovah's Witnesses services, and I've realized that it really wasn't her fault. The reason why is because my mother had 10 kids. And when you have 10 kids, it's hard to keep up with each individual. It's hard for me to even keep up with 2 individuals, and I have 2 of my own.
Exactly.
So my mother had 10, so I don't fault her for
okay, good.
It's really hard on her.
So let's talk about this gang involvement. Why did you join the gang?
I have, which is right here.
I know you will renounce, but I'm asking you, why did you? So
basically around the time, I should say I was about 12 years old, bad influence, you can name it, you know, not listening to my mother, you know, getting involved with the wrong crowd. You know, I had older brothers I looked up to that were involved in gang activity, you know, the type of environment in the neighborhoods that we do strive from are based around gang activity, gang relations.
You grew up in Hartford, right?
So based on that, I realized going through the incarceration program and the SRG program and actually completing it made me feel way better than me actually getting down with a gang.
Yeah. Well, I really do hope that you're done with that gang violence, Mr. Green, because like you said, you do have 2 very young children, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. And the last thing, one of the cases that I read, you know, their 2 rival gang members were shooting in a house because they thought someone else was in there and shot a 3-year-old. And you don't want to be in that. So you need to leave that stuff alone. You know, you've done a very good job. Honestly, I came in here with a question mark in terms of your request for, well, in terms of your, my decision for your parole. And I wanted to speak to you. I didn't like the disciplinary infractions, but to your credit, you have remained out of trouble for it looks like a whole year now. You are in school. You're doing a lot of positive things. I did not like the fact that you were on probation when you committed this offense and that probation was terminated. I do hope that you understand that if you are granted discretionary parole, that parole officers have arresting powers. That means they don't have to go back before the court to get an order. They can come right to wherever you are and get you without explanation. So I would encourage you again to utilize whoever your supervising officer are in the community as a resource, because that's what they're there for. Yes, they can, they have arresting powers and they can remand you, but it's more important that you use them for some of those resources that you said that you have for housing, for transportation, they have all those resources for you as well. I commend you again on your efforts, sir, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. Panel member Chance.
So, Mr. Green, all the services that you talked about that's available in the community, and what Were you ever offered those services before, either
So-
by DCF or
So
while
when
you
I
were
was,
out
so
on probation?
the reason why it's so easy for me to reach out to these resources and know most of these resources is because I have been in DCF since I was 12 years old, and being in DCF since 12 years old makes me build up a lot of knowledge through DCF and the way they work, and the transition of the way they work are through programs that I can easily
So
grasp onto.
I asked you, have you ever been involved in those programs before? Either through DCF or probation?
Housing, I believe, housing program. I have my own apartment now. That's it. That's basically it. That's
Right,
basically
so,
it.
so some of those services were offered to you before. But my understanding is that because of the people that you indicated, you said you were involved with the wrong people.
Yes, ma'am.
My reason for asking you that question is now you have some of those programs available to you again.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to know how you're going to make sure that this time you do reconnect and maintain those services until they end up in a positive outcome.
Yes, ma'am. One way I can maintain these services is, by me personally, I feel like at this point in time in my life, even though I am young, I feel like the best way is to have a consistent job. Staying home with my kids is the best opportunity I can do, because nowadays I look on the news, I look on national news, I watch ABC News, and I see a lot of things going on, a lot of children getting hurt, things that in such neighborhoods that I come from, and it bothers me. And you turn a different page when it bothers you. It doesn't just bother you, it irks your soul when you see somebody trying to drown their children at a beach, or somebody trying to drown their children at a hotel. It turns a different page in your life when the aspects change.
So those were all wake-up calls for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that. And I do think that this time you have done a very good job in preparing yourself. And I appreciate all the research that you have done. So good luck.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Green, we'll now discuss your case and give you our answer in just a minute or two.
Yes, ma'am. Of course.
Middlemember Page?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that I really made my position clear. I really don't like the nature of many of Mr. Green's convictions. Didn't like the fact that he was on probation. But I did also point out no disciplinary infractions for a year. He's doing some very positive things to offset those negative behaviors. And although he is considered a high risk to recidivate, I think that the heightened level of parole, discretionary parole in the community will help him enhance his chances of completing the remainder of his probation and the sentence successfully. So I would support his request for discretionary parole.
Excellent.
And him with a chance.
I absolutely agree with everything that Mrs. Page said, and I'm glad to hear that this time around, he has done his homework in regards to some of those programs that were previously offered to him.
Great. All right, I agree with both my colleagues. Conditions. There was no contact with the proposed sponsor, so I had halfway house. Anger management, I thought would be appropriate.
Well, he completed it in the facility already. That's not too far. So,
okay, so we'll take that off.
And I would do his co-defendant, Keyshawn Rothman. Is that person a relative of yours?
No, ma'am.
All right. Anything else?
I don't know if you want to put, but there was a general stay away because they identify the places that you got advice.
May I speak, ma'am? I do.
No, you can't. Let us finish first.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
Are you talking about the burglaries?
No, I was gonna talk about my sponsor. The sponsor.
Well, we can't. We have to give you a halfway house because there was no contact with the sponsor.
And it's just in case you need.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
You're better off with it than without it.
Okay.
All right. So in the matter of Kai Passio Green, 438996. There's a motion to grant parole on or after January 7th, 2024. Conditions of a halfway house. No contact with co-defendant Keyshawn Rothman. Was there anything else?
Can we check the date? You said 24,
Did I say
January.
25? Got it.
Okay.
All right, I correct myself.
Was it? I thought, no, his eligibility date is January 7th, 2024. Is that right, Officer Menard? So it's
Yes.
today's date.
So it would be, right, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so parole eligibility as of today, 9/13/2024, with the conditions as previously stated. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Green, good
Thank
luck to you.
Thank you, I
Keep up the
appreciate
good
the
work,
time.
sir.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing. Kai Green, Commission 48.
You're all set, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.